Aaron Whitlow.
And I am Brandon Spivey, and welcome back to the Mark Out Movie Podcast. Aaron's having a little situation, if you will.
I am.
Today we're doing Scream 6, Aaron. It's
Yes,
over.
Scream
It's over.
20.
It's
It
over.
is finally over. Before we touch on that, I would like to mention real briefly the passing of Lance Reddick. Are you familiar with him at all?
He's from John Wick. That's what I know him from.
Yeah, so I known him. He was on The Wire, which was one of the best crime police procedural shows in the history of those shows. But I know him mainly from a show that your boy Joshua Jackson, is his name Joshua Jackson?
Yeah, Joshua Jackson.
Yeah, he was on Fringe. He was like the lieutenant in Fringe. That's where I kind of came to know him at his own from Fringe, and so I follow him on Facebook, so I love his posts. He posts like daily, like different things, especially him at his home with his dogs and things. And he died all of a sudden in his home at age 60. I'm not sure of why he died. I don't know if it's a heart attack or whatever. Seemed like he was in pretty good health. But yeah, Lance Reddick dead at 60. Thoughts and prayers with his family and friends. Those that knew him in the industry, he will be missed. You know him as John Wick as the concierge, which he was good in that role. He just was a fantastic, underrated actor.
I agree. I liked him. I really liked him a lot in the last John Wick film. I thought he had more to do, and he brought a lot to that franchise. I think that probably goes on unnoticed, but I know he also was in Lost. Cody, my friend Cody, told me about it earlier. He was truly upset about it because he had a connection with him, He also said he was in. Well, I said he was in Resident Evil, which I didn't get to see the show on Netflix. So, but yeah, it is sad though. I mean,
well, I do want moving on from Lance. Like I said, thoughts and prayers with him and his family. Moving on, I want you to be able to take a moment to rant. So we're gonna let Brandon rant about a little movie that Brandon recently saw. And go ahead, man. Say what you want to say.
Say what I want to say. I really wasn't going to say anything. I mean, it's just unfortunate because a lot of fans think that, the DC kind of did too much too soon. They put the Justice League movie out there. Of course, we know all the drama that happened with that, but they didn't take their time to build the characters. But it seems like here lately, they have been taking the time to build characters. And then James Gunn comes on board and just kind of fires the OGs, so to speak. Well, most of them. He's fired The Rock. He's fired Henry Cavill. Ben Affleck has turned him down to direct a Batman movie, Brave and the Bold, I believe. So everything they have been planning is not going to happen. So I kind of made a post about it yesterday when I was getting ready to watch the first Shazam movies. Like, it doesn't matter. So it kind of kills the excitement. But anyway, I went and seen it, and I actually had a really good time. And then they set up something with the first end credit scene, and I'm like, it's not even going to happen. Why? And it connects to Black Adam, and I'm like, you son of a gun.
Literally.
It's like, and people come out of the theaters like, man, that was really good. It was really fun. And it's like, yeah, it was. It was a really good movie, and no one's going to go see it because they know it doesn't matter. Same thing's going to happen to Aquaman, whatever they're going to set up. And The Flash is, I said what I said. They rather fire the originals and keep the criminal. But, Is it not true?
You're right.
Who's staying? Who's leaving and who is staying? Enough said. And my thing is, he's upsetting people. He's now going to direct the Superman movie. Of course he is. What if people boycott that movie? What do you do then? You got no future. You know, I don't know. It's just, I hate what they're doing. I'd rather have the old regime back. You know, I don't like it, but you know, it is what it is.
This concludes Brandon's rant. James Gunn. All right, and then I have my own rant, Brandon, that I want to talk about. I do have a rant.
This is new to me. Oh, yes, yes.
All right,
rant.
So
I ran it years ago.
Watched. Because, like, when we started watching the Scream stuff, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and finally watch the Scream series again. Like, I seen the first season, then, like, I seen, like, the first episode of the second season, and I didn't see anything past that point.
Can I real quick? I warned him not to watch season 3. I told him not to watch it.
Yeah. So, you did warn me. And I did watch season 3, which there it is. I bring it in the top corner there. But let me talk about season 1 and 2, because season 3 has nothing to do with season 1 and 2 at all. And season 2, what's frustrating is season 2 sets up for season 3 to continue the whole Brandon James, the whole Emma type of story going forward. But when you reboot the series, and I don't mind that they rebooted it with like in Atlanta and did that. That's fine. But you got to tie everything back in together somehow, man. Weave it back in, and that's what I was hoping would happen. But no. Also, I felt that the series is too slow. I don't think Scream will work it doesn't really work as a series because of the pacing. It's hard to do. But the characters, I did like Noah. Noah was my favorite. Audrey, I enjoyed Audrey as well. Emma, I didn't like Emma, and I see why you hate it when she popped up in Reacher. You're like, ugh. But yeah, because she was very annoying. She's a very annoying character, actually. And I don't think that I never thought her as like the Sidney Prescott of the show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The person that we're supposed to invest in. I would rather it been Audrey, or I'd rather it been Noah, like do something different. But I just didn't really buy her. And I never thought like she tried to build herself towards the second season. It's like, oh, I'm going to be like the Sidney Prescott type of person. Never bought it. Also, the killer in the first one, I thought all the time it was going to be spoilers. I thought all the time it was going to be the boyfriend. I always thought that. And then, like, because there's like little things where he just pop up. I'm like, yeah, he's totally the killer. But then, like, when they did the Piper thing, I was like, okay, I didn't see that coming. But because why would Piper be? Because Piper was attacked at one point. Piper was attacked.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
They didn't reveal the second killer, which is what I've been saying they should do in the movies.
Yeah, I agree with that. I see what you're saying. And what I didn't like about season 3 of the show.
Everything for me. Well, except one thing.
I didn't mind the casting. I didn't the guy that played Dion in that show. He's great. And you remember him in not the Five Bloods, but you remember him in what's the one with Jonathan Majors on Netflix?
I think it's The Hard Way.
The Dead Fall Hard or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, you remember him, like I loved him in that movie.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of wanting to invest in him in here. his brother's played by the rapper Tyga, which whatever. And then you had Keke Palmer, which she was very comedic, but you can neither love or hate Keke Palmer. That's just how I take Keke Palmer. And then also one of the guys, Amir, that's Christopher Wall. That's Biggie Smalls' son. That's his son. That's Notorious B.I.G. That was his son. So it's good seeing him still acting, and I thought he did a okay job. I just felt like it just like the kill when they explained who the killer was in it. I thought it was just terrible. My rant is that stop wasting time with, and they did only 6 episodes. And I was so happy. I was like, oh, good, it's the end. That's how I felt. And then at the end, I was like, oh, well, that's pointless. That's pointless. This was all pointless. But I did mark out with Tony Todd in the first episode. I like that. But I'd rather the show been about Tony Todd. Just something better. I don't even mind it being like a black Scream movie. That's great. Just why? Also, but why? Why? Like it threw me off. I was like, wait. What? Who are these people? What's happening? That's where I was. That's my rant. And that's why I felt like, and also Brandon, as you know, freaking I Know What You Did Last Summer show pretty much the same. Is like they pretty much took the same concept and ran with it.
I would say though, season 3 is better than I Know What You Did Last Summer. Not by much, but it's better. It's a little better. It's more watchable, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, it was my rant. It was my rant on that. Now we are going to get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, which is Scream 2023. Oh, I absolutely had a great time with this movie. I'm gonna just give you a quick synopsis as to what the movie's about. The gang from Woodsboro from the last film in 2022, the core 4 ends up in New York, and where they start being stalked by Ghostface again, and he's more vicious. He's the most vicious that he's ever been. I feel like in this film, and you have your returning characters. Elephant in the room, Neve Campbell doesn't return, but also she wasn't needed. So I mean, and that's nothing against Neve. It's just I'm glad that they finally is focusing on Tara and Sam and these characters. But I miss them Dewey.
Yeah.
I did miss them Dewey.
I would say he's the elephant in the room more so than Sydney. Because Sydney's not needed. She wasn't missed. In my opinion, she wasn't missed. But Dewey, you felt his absence, and I want to say this before we really dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, because I know you love everything about it, but for me, this was the perfect Scream movie up until the reveal and everything that happened after the reveal. I was liking this movie better than the original up until that point. So I give them credit. I mean, they did a great job with this Ghostface. I thought he was the best Ghostface up until the reveal.
And we're going to dive into it. It's a spoiler, so if you haven't seen Scream 6 2023, we are going to spoil it for you. And it's been out for what, 2 weeks now? 2-3 weeks?
No, 1 week.
It's been 1 week?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we're about to spoil it for you. I want to say one thing before we jump into it. Between Scream 2022 and Scream 6, Jenna Ortega blew up.
She did.
So I want to first highlight that. She has had a long history with us in horror. that people don't really realize that she's ours. She belongs to the horror community. But she blew up though with Wednesday. And I think she's now the it factor in horror, in my opinion. I think she's the. I was gonna try to see how I could. I guess she's the equivalent to Jamie Lee Curtis when when Halloween happened, and she kind of went into that. That her career just like.
Yeah, it blew up, and she started getting other roles in other subgenres, which is what she's doing. She's got a thriller coming out with I forget who, but it's going to be a big film. But I forget who she's working with in that. But yeah, she's doing drama, thrillers, horror. I think she's even got a comedy coming out. So I mean, she's blown up really, and man, I don't know.
You did the voice on your show, bro. Jurassic World Camp. What's that show that you like?
Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah, Cretaceous or something. Yeah. She did Brooklyn. She's the voice of Brooklyn.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Actually, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not trying to. I ain't gonna lie to you, Brandon. Me and Jackie watched the show with Zanzi, and we got into it. It was like it's a very entertaining show. I would argue and say it's more entertaining than Jurassic World movies that came out. It really was.
I mean, I haven't finished it, but I really liked the first 3 seasons. Now the last 2 kind of took a nosedive in some aspects. They went a different direction, but yeah, I like the show overall. Though I think it's for an animated show that's directed towards kids. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, but you were saying about Jenna Ortega and her career.
Yeah, she's just. I don't know. She's just blown up. I think she is like Jamie Lee. Like she's only. I don't know. Maybe she'll do Scream for years to come, but I got a feeling she might not. Think she's really gonna be bigger than the genre like Jamie was.
I would say going forward in like a Scream 7 or whatever, I would argue and say that she could probably ask for more money if you want her to return, because she is, and she isn't the new Sydney, but maybe she is. Maybe her character in itself is the new Sydney, and it's not Sam. Because not saying that Sam isn't, but Sam's character is a complex character. She's she's a Sydney meets Billy Loomis. She's like that type of. She's not like a clean cut final girl. She's like, if you had a serial killer that's on your team, that's who Sam is.
Yeah.
Whereas I would say Tara is more of the Sydney, but she gives me off Sydney vibes more than Sam does. So
yeah, I would say Tara's more of the traditional final girl, where Sam is. I like Sam though. I really like her character. I'm glad they went in this direction with her, because you literally do not know what she's gonna do. She likes killing. You can tell when she does it, and I feel she's gonna go to the dark side a little bit. Maybe not in the next sequel, but they're gonna keep her around. I mean, she's not, to me, not Sydney, but she is the star of Scream 6, though. I mean, it's all about her and what she's going through. It's about Tara and the other 3 too, but the main focus really is her.
Do you I will try to remember to ask you this question when we get to it. But the movie starts out with a phone ringing, and I love the way the phone rang, and we was at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And it was just like someone like getting reservations. I thought like, oh, is the killer calling? I was like, is the killer calling a restaurant? Like for some reason, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. But and we start out with Samara Weaving as Laura Crane, who obviously she has a horror roots with the Killer series, Ready or Not, which I love. Ready or Not, I thought that was excellent film. But yeah, like what was your thoughts on the opening and just the way that what was your thoughts on the reveal at the opening?
Oh, well, I'll answer the first question. You know what my thoughts are. I loved it. I hated that she died because I'm actually a big fan of hers, especially in The Babysitter. I like her Ready or Not as well, but I like her more in The Babysitter. Not so much the sequel, but that first film I really did enjoy. But so I liked her. I just wish she could have been in the movie more because I feel like she just adds depth to anything she does. But I like the kill. I like the reveal. Ghostface takes his mask off, and it's just, I was like, whoa, they're changing the formula. I like this, but not so fast.
Yeah.
um,
Let me tell you with that, Brandon, I thought my first thought was, wait, is this a movie? Like is this like, are they? Because when he took his mask off, I was like, did this really happen? Is this like a movie? Like, are they like shooting like a scene or something? I thought it was going to reveal to be like a fake out or something.
Yeah.
And then like I'm like, oh no, he killed her. Oh, he killed her. Oh, he's walking away. And then I was like, is he Ghostface? Like what? Like what are we doing with this? Like, and then like when I see him meet Tara, I was like, are we going to know who Ghostface is the whole time? And that's what I thought was going to happen. I was like, oh wow, that's really unique.
Yeah. Then he gets to his apartment and he gets a call from his roommate, who's supposed to be the other Ghostface that they're planning to kill Tara and Sam and the other and Mindy and Chad. That's the plan
To finish Richie's film.
Finish Richie's movie, yeah. And so he's gonna play a little hide and seek with his caller, who turns out to be the real Ghostface, or a different Ghostface, because you really got two going on at the same time.
Yeah.
But I do love the fridge scene, and that's straight out of Friday the 13th Part 2 when she opens the door and sees Mrs. Voorhees' head. I mean, except this is like a whole body cut up. I love that. I mean, that was the first time I've ever seen Scream do something like that. Like,
as a direct homage, like and yeah, well, the Ghostface, like I said, is more vicious. Yeah. Also, I love the cameo from Kane Hodder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing like that was the perfect way to, because everybody's waiting on you got to have a Jason Take Manhattan. You got to have a Jason Take Manhattan reference or Easter egg or something. And I thought it was going to be later on. I thought for sure when they talking about decapitations, I thought for sure that the one kid, the new Dewey, if you will,
stretching.
But hey, man, but seriously, I mean, he adopted Dewey. He inherited Dewey's plot armor, his invincibility. But
we're gonna discuss that.
But but nevertheless, I thought for sure there's going to be a scene where he get his head knocked off, like in Jason Takes Manhattan. But no, the actual scene of Jason, and it was a scene when he was on the boat on his way to Manhattan, right? Yeah. Was that Kane Hodder's first? His first Jason was like the film prior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jason versus Carrie.
Jason versus Jean Grey. But I guess it's more Carrie. Carrie makes more sense in the horror element. But yeah, no, I love that reference. But then I love when Ghostface, he's like, wait, what about my movie? What about the movie? And then he says, F movies, and then like kills him.
Yeah. And at that point, I was like, if it had been Stu, I could see that. I'm gonna always go back to Stu, and there's a reason I'm going to Stu this time. They really opened the door for Stu's return, but I could see him not really caring about the movies. I could see him being upset that everyone has tried to copy him and Billy.
Mhm.
So, of course, that's not what we get in the movie, but I love the line. I love Ghostface's attitude. He's menacing. He's very angry. You just don't know why. But and I will say, when we get to the reveal, it makes sense why he is angry, or they are angry, as it turns out to be.
Yeah.
But I just love how outraged Ghostface is in this movie. I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Um. So so there is so after this scene, after the murder, we catch up with Sam, who is in therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's too much for the therapist. He's like, I tap out.
Yeah, I tap out too.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, um, I'm trying to see. I wish I could find a screenshot of the image that you said you thought you saw.
It wasn't him though. It was the directors. It was Kurt
Okay.
Cobain. They were dressing like Kurt Cobain.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I looked it up and I found that out. I was like, man, but the face looked like it was Matthew Lillard on that subway. I
Um,
mean, it made me do a double whammy. So I was,
a double whammy? You mean a double take?
yeah, I call them double
Okay.
whammies.
We call him. Okay. Well, you can do that. So Christopher Stone, Dr. Christopher Stone, played by Henry Czerny. He's I know him as the villain in the Mission Impossible film. Which one? I want to say it might be the first one. I want to say it's the first one.
No, that's John Voight.
Huh?
That's John Voight and
Well, which one? No,
John
which one?
Renault.
No, which one would they burn? When they burnt Ethan Hunt? He was the guy in there where they burned him, and pretty much let's say that him and his team is gone rogue. Maybe it's Rogue. Yeah, Rogue Nation. I think it's the one that is.
I don't remember too much about that. That's the fourth one, I believe. I don't remember too much about it other than his run.
No, he was in Mission Impossible. Kittredge in Mission Impossible. He was also in Ready or Not, Clear and Present Danger, Pink Panther. Later, yeah. So he's been in some things, but yeah, the doctor pretty much was like, "Hell no, I'm not going to deal with this lady. No." So
I mean, yeah. I mean, her dad was a serial killer. She likes how it feels when she killed Richie. I mean, yeah. I think I'd be tapping out too. This is not someone you want in your life. Well, you're trying to help them or not. They like to murder. Essentially, yep. They like how it makes them feel. So it's why I say Sam eventually is going to go to the dark side.
So be full-fledged Ghostface?
I think she will. I think, my personal opinion, I think she's going to they're going to bring Stu back. I think Stu and Sam.
But in that case, I honestly want them to subvert it where they don't die, but they live, or something like that.
You bring Stu back, you can't kill him. I mean, you got to see how he survived.
Yeah.
They got to show that. And what he's been doing all these years.
But so after she meets with her, the therapist, let's gonna jump into like the meat and potatoes of it. They kind of find out that there was a murder and the Ghostface was on the premises, and that's when the detective alerts them that her ID was found on the scene.
Yeah.
And tells them to come down to the station, but while they're on their way, they get attacked. And this leads to one of my favorite sequences. I can't wait to own this movie to watch the scene again. The grocery store, the little convenience store, scene is so intense. It was so uh, it's actually very like you know very uh, thrilling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like suspenseful is the word I'm
Yeah.
thinking about. But what were your thoughts on that scene and that whole little thing?
Well, it kind of reminded me of Jason Takes Manhattan when Jason's on that subway. Or no, not subway, the restaurant. Was it the restaurant that he just kind of barges into?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and somebody gets in his face and he's going to put him down.
And it's when he threw Ken Kirzinger through like on the grill.
Yeah,
The other Jason, he threw the other Jason onto.
yeah. So it reminded me of that scene a little bit, but I love when Ghostface gets the gun. It's like, no, 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 no. And it just blows him away. It's like, I was like, man, this Ghostface will use anything and everything to his advantage. And he's going to kill you. No doubt about it. He ain't waiting to the final act. If you get in his way, you're dead. Or I'll talk about that too at the end.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like they end up getting out and getting free. But then was the next attack is the next attack the apartment attack?
Yeah.
With this, the setup is they decide that it's better to bunker together.
Mm-hmm.
Now Sam is dating the neighbor across the street. In the apartment, you have Chad, you have Mindy, you also have Tara, Sam. We have Quinn and Anika. I think that's about it in the apartment. And I love the dude that's who's Paul, but that guy, he's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have them in this apartment, and Sam's love interest, if you will, is across the hall, and he sees Ghostface in Quinn's room, which at the time you're like, oh Lord, she's about to, she's not aware that this killer is there, and next thing you know, finally get their attention and see that she's getting murdered. But what you hear is like the noise and they think, oh, because she's very sex positive is what she calls herself.
Yeah, positive. Yeah.
And so you think that she and Paul is just doing what they do, and which was also, I thought that was actually very terrifying. Actually, that the thought, like in that scene, I thought for sure, like how like scary that is that somebody's thinking that you're, doing something but you're actually being murdered. It reminds me of in Halloween when PJ Soul's character was getting murdered, and talking to Jamie Lee Curtis on the phone, Lori, and she thinks that she just her and Paul. His name, was that Memphis? No, Paul is the name of the other girl's other lady.
I think the whole attack scene while they're in the living room and she's in the bedroom was a play on Halloween. But I don't want to say too much because we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So I'll leave my thoughts up here for now, and I'll get back to it with that particular scene, because.
But yeah, so she comes out the room, she's bleeding and she's coughing, and she's been stabbed and look like throat slit, and she falls into, I guess, Anika or one of them. It happened so fast, but then Ghostface shows up, stabs Anika, turns it. Don't he turn it or rip it or he does something?
Yeah.
And and then that sets up this whole apartment like kill sequence and all this like where there's and that was very intense, man. That was a really strong scene, and especially with the ladder crossing scene, trying to go
Yeah,
into the other guy's apartment.
that reminded me of a movie called Judgment Day, which had Emilio Estevez in,
I remember that.
and Ray kind of slung the ladder. But in this situation, she's on this ladder climbing. Everyone's made it safely. Ghostface is there shaking it. Oh man, it was so intense. I was like, oh man, this is going to end so bad. But you didn't want to look away because it was so enticing. It was so suspenseful. And I gotta say this: Ghostface just went full on Jason in this movie. Like
Absolutely.
early Jason, like not Jason Takes Manhattan, even though he was menacing in that, but early Jason was so menacing, we're so
Yeah.
relentless, and I got that vibe from this Ghostface that he was like that. But yeah, that scene, oh man, that was,
Yeah.
and
He
the aftermath of
uh,
her falling.
yeah, when the moment that they're trying to urge her to keep crossing, she's
Yeah,
bleeding, she's dying, she's like losing blood. And so they urge her to keep crossing, and then the moment that they stop and kind of look back, and that Ghostface is on the other side of that ladder, and he takes that knife and stabs it into the windowsill,
yeah.
and then starts buckling the ladder, and you're like, oh Lord, you're like, oh my goodness, that's
He's not playing.
terrifying.
He's not playing around.
I said to the person sitting next to me, I said, yo, this is where I would have died. I would have died. I know that's just like
And,
I would have. I would have. It would have been me, man. It would have been curtains.
and
Or I think.
I don't know I don't know about you. I know when I was growing up watching these type of movies, they would always compare Jason and Michael. What is the difference? And I have to say this: the difference is Michael toys with you, Jason does not. He comes after you, and he does not stop. There is no toying. He doesn't play games. He's like a shark. He knows one speed, and that's it. And that's how Ghostface was in this movie. And I felt like in all the other movies, he was like Michael. That he plays with them, he toys with them. But in this one, he doesn't. He's a shark.
And he's not at with the other Scream films. Ghostface, for the most part, was very clumsy. You think about Stu and Billy, especially Stu. Sidney beat the heck out of that man. With like spikes or plants or whatever bases, just like, and then like he'll pratfall and all that stuff. But like with the last few films, I think that Ghostface was more. I think this is the most menacing he's ever been. Like I felt like in here, like he was actually terrifying. He wasn't a joke. He was not a joke. He's like if you come across him, you will die.
Yeah. Yeah. But
what we have after that? What's the next attack? What do we have?
Well, I think they get to the police station and we meet Kirby again.
Oh yes.
I wanted to ask you though about her. Did you like her in this? Did you feel she was too different?
Well, I thought they try to keep her a little bit more mysterious. She didn't really talk movie quotes like she did in the other film, but I'm glad for the most. Honestly, out of everybody that is, that you would call a legend? What do you call a legend?
Legacy character.
Legacy character. She's my favorite one that has popped up in this film because I'm over Gail. But Gail, we were talking about Gail's moments, but I did like her. I wanted more of her, and hopefully going forward, she is. I was hoping that she would become the next Gail for the group, not in the sense of Gail's always trying to write and stuff, but I want her to become the next component
Yeah.
of the group. And I hope Gail just kind of
Fades off.
fades off. Yeah, absolutely.
Spoilers, she does not die. Although she does.
Well, we're gonna talk about all that, but yeah, we get Kirby returning, and then what happens? Is this when we get the death of the therapist?
Yeah, I think it happened right after that. Or it could have been right before it.
Yeah, I'm not
Because
sure.
no, it was after the because she called him, or yes, she called him, and they were gonna leave. Right? He
Yeah,
said, "Well, we need you to come down to the station," and that's when they got attacked at the
at
convenience store.
yeah.
So
Well, at that point, yeah, it's true, it's true. All right, but then and then we had so the therapist dies. He gets stabbed in the nose, um, uh, which was a gruesome death. It was a great death. Like I
yeah,
love how vicious he was, Ghostface with that. But we have, but after the death and the apartment stuff, the detective is full of grief because he lost his last remaining child. You come to find out that Ethan, who was another part of this new group, wasn't anywhere to be around. They're like, "Well, where were you, Ethan?" And then they start being suspect of Ethan. They're like, "Because you wasn't there when all this was going down,
yeah,
and Quinn's dead. You wasn't there. All signs pointing to you, you know." And
yeah.
and so I was like, "Well, maybe it is." I kind of gave Ethan gave me vibes, um, but
Give you vibes.
he did. What did we have after this?
See, they get to the police station. I think at that point, the main I forget his name. The detective wants
Bailey.
to Bailey. Okay, he wants to check on Kirby, make sure she is who she says she is.
Mm-hmm.
So that they're setting up the mysterious Kirby character. Is she really okay? Is she mentally stable after surviving Scream 4? But then I think that's when Gail shows up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
And she wrote
and
another book, but it wasn't the book she said she was going to write.
no, it wasn't about Dewey.
And I'm upset about Gail. Anyway, I mean, is it okay to
She
talk
seemed,
about what?
yeah, she seemed money hungry. But
Well, it wasn't just that. It was she had a new boy.
oh,
I
she
mean,
moved on fast.
yeah, I mean, it was like,
I mean, Gail decided to try some brothers. Um,
but this is like 6 months after Scream 5. I mean, I don't understand how you even
people,
do that.
people, people mourn differently, and she mourned by
I'm aware.
She
I'm aware.
mourned by getting in with a brother. But anyway, which was is pointless. I mean, bro, you did nothing. But anyway, I do want to mention. So Gail, so Sam goes to punch Gail,
Yeah.
and Gail blocks it. Call back to Sydney getting there, but then like the new Sydney, in my opinion, Tara pops her and
Yeah.
gets her. It was great. But,
Yeah. I like that it was a play on the first Scream. Like, it wasn't her first rodeo. She was prepared for something like that. But you basically got two final girls you're dealing with now, not just one. So I like this scene. Also, Gail gets things done. She finds out about the lair of the people that were planning to do this.
that's what I want to get to. So we can go ahead and jump there. So we have they go to this museum of Ghostface,
Yeah.
essentially, a layer that had every possible, like so many Easter eggs, every possible, like everything. They mentioned Roman. They have Roman stuff there. Finally, not saying because you got to acknowledge that he was a Ghostface. But they had his stuff there. They had a TV to kill Stumacher. They had Billy Loomis's shirt. I think they had killed Stu Martin, right?
Yes, because
Uh,
Mindy brings it up. If you believe,
yeah,
which she was basically saying, I kind of think he's still alive. You're throwing it out there, and you you're opening up worms there because like so many want him back. Matthew
yeah.
Lillard wants to come
But
back.
it shows dead 1996 or whatever, but it had question mark
Yeah,
by his name.
so
Didn't
they're
they also
leaving it
have a
open.
question mark with? Did they have a question mark by uh what's the name Roberts from the Four?
I didn't see one, but I've heard people talk about it. That and the director said there's always a way to bring her back. I don't know how, but honestly, I don't. Didn't she get shot in the head, or was it
No,
just the
she
chest?
didn't. She got shot in the chest.
Okay, okay.
Um, but she got shot, but then she
Yeah,
got
I know
shot
she
in
got
the chest.
shocked. I thought
But
Sydney shot her in the head.
no, she shot her in the chest.
So okay, it's possible. In this franchise right now, the way
Yeah,
things are going, it's very
Mickey's
possible.
dead. Mickey is dead. He got shot in the head.
Yeah, I also like the what they said about Sam. Grandmother was a serial killer. Father was a serial killer. They just opening the door for her to take on that mask.
Mhm.
It was coming. You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
She's gonna put that mask on. She's gonna
Well,
like it.
but the layer, what I loved about the layer is that they had so many different things in there. It's just like Easter eggs galore. Like
Yeah,
I love that. I want to spend more time, and I actually really want to spend more time in there to see what I was there. Like it's so. I want to find a YouTube video that breaks down every single thing that's there, and
yeah.
because there's so much stuff, man. But we finally we're gonna get in this. We'll go ahead and move into the third act, which is. Would you say the subway stuff is the beginning of the third act? Because
Well, before we
we
do
don't
that,
have any
we got to talk about Gail and
Gail's Gail's Gail's
attack,
attack.
which
Yeah,
which was one of my favorite parts of the movie. The phone call conversation. I thought that was great. And then her boyfriend gets killed like he's nothing. And I have a problem with this scene, just like I had a problem with Dewey. It don't make logical sense. Who's underneath that mask? Because we'll get there, but it don't make logical sense that that person could take him out just like that. It just
yeah.
doesn't. But I'm overlooking that because the main portion of this is Gale versus Ghostface. I
Well,
loved it.
I love the my favorite part of it was when Gail puts Ghostface on hold. She
Yeah.
says, "Could you hold for a second?" And he said, "Huh, "What?" And then like she puts her hold and she clicks over and just starts a new call and calls him, and it rings and she shoots in the closet, which great scene, great scene. I love like the first person. No one ever thought about putting Ghostface on hold. Like that's a
No.
very genius thing to do. But I thought for sure that Gail was gonna die. But
Well, I mean, she kind of did. She did stop breathing. And here comes one of my problems with the film. It
mhm.
started here. So we got a pulse because he has stabbed her. I don't know how many times. She stops breathing. I felt they were afraid to kill certain characters
Yeah,
when they should have been dead, whether they were
yeah,
stabbed or shot. It happens to a lot of people. Happens to 4 or 5 of them,
yeah. We're gonna get
and they
there.
all survive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of felt that way too. Um, with so after the Gale stuff and Gale, then they decide we're gonna have to create a kill box and trap
Yeah,
Ghostface, lure him to us. And so you have Ethan, Sam, Gail, not Gail, Ethan, Sam, Tara, Mindy, and was it is
Chad.
there Chad? Yeah. And also what's the guy's name? Boyfriend. Uh,
I don't know.
um,
I don't.
handsome stranger, handsome neighbor guy.
Yeah, But he told her like a second act maybe. If you
mhm.
can't trust anybody, trust nobody, even me. And she wouldn't let him come, and I thought that was good writing because it was a callback to their previous conversation.
Mhm.
Uh, she didn't trust him, and he understood, but he would help in the end,
Yeah.
regardless. I thought that was actually good writing, but yeah, they lock the door, they're trapped. Kirby's there
No.
with them.
Before that, they are. No. We're on the subway.
Oh, you're on the subway. I thought you was in the lair.
No. There's heading to the layer, but
Okay, yeah, the
so
subway.
so we have a bunch of Easter eggs. You have a Pinhead. You have Pennywise. You have Midsummer.
Freddy.
Uh, Freddy.
Yeah.
Jason. Michael. I think you have a Michael in there. I thought I seen a Michael. You have American Werewolf in London. You have there's so many different. I've seen Sam Wayne from Trick or Treat. Seen him in there. Just so many. Like, how much money do they dish out to get those properties for this? Like, we in a movie, we have all these different characters in the. Like, it's pretty. For me, it was pretty cool. Like, I
Yeah.
wanted. It was happening so fast, it's hard to really see. But I was wanting to pause. I wish I could pause and see. I was like, oh, and I was like pointing out while I was sitting there in the movie. I was like, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I did mark out for Midsummer. I was like, Midsummer. I was like, oh, I know that. Um, but yeah, it's elevated horror, mixing everything. So, what was your thoughts on that scene? And then, what are your thoughts? And you can describe it and tell me your thoughts on the attack on the subtrain.
I love the scene. It was a great Easter egg scene. I compare it to not Ready or Not, but Ready Player One. When you get all those classic characters coming together, and you just like pointing at each one, it goes by too fast to even count. But I compare it to that. It was. We're both cinema buffs. It brought great joy just to see that, especially in the horror genre. I mean,
Mm.
it's all these different costumes. It was on Halloween, I believe, or near Halloween. So it brings a smile to your face to see all these characters on on the subway. As far as the attack goes, I thought that was so suspenseful how they did it. The
With
lights
the light.
flicking on and off,
Mm.
yeah. But this is how you know it's at least two killers, because this Ghostface doesn't have Stu's mask. I love Stu's mask, by the way. How Odin looks kind of reminds me of Michael's mask in
Yeah.
that sense. But this is a new Ghostface mask,
Uh,
and
yeah. She had. I think she had Nancy. She had Mrs. Loomis's mask, right?
yeah, I
Oh,
think so.
I spoiled it. I said she. But
Well, it's actually not she.
well, I feel it is she.
You think
I
it
feel
is?
it's she. I feel it's she. I think. All right. So at this point, so we got the subway, and we explain it. So um, Mindy is watching and clocking everything, trying to keep an eye on Ethan because she is suspecting Ethan to be the killer. But there's all these ghost faces on the train, and the lights going on and off, and one of them keep moving and focus on her, and she gets stabbed, in the public around people, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. Like there's a lady, I think she's asleep.
Yeah.
Which I thought it'd be kind of cool if she was actually texting or doing something like that, like so absorbed with your phone that you wouldn't notice what's going on around you.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been cool, but no, she was asleep. But
Actually,
yeah,
I think you're right. I think it was her, because you actually see after the attack, the doors open. You see Ghostface go out the door, then you see Ethan come up.
yeah.
So yeah, I believe you're right. I believe it was. But my only problem with that is he stabbed her, I do believe, and he twisted it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did twist it.
Yeah,
She
I think he
twisted
pushed it because I think Ethan. Well,
She should have bled out from that.
Yeah.
And here's the other problem: Ethan's with her, and spoilers here, people. Ethan is revealed to be one of the killers.
Yep.
Why in the world did he take her to the hospital? That don't make sense to me.
I don't know.
It don't.
I don't know why. Because and then we'll talk about that. Because the ending and what they said they're gonna do, like it's like they didn't plan it out.
It's why I called it chaotic.
But so they're waiting on her. Now they made it off the train. So they got separated. They're on different carts.
Yeah.
And so they done made it back to the lair, the Ghostface lair, and they're locked in. The detective calls and says, "It's Kirby. Kirby's the killer. Kirby, da." And so next thing you know, that's when the lights go off in there, and then they're trying to look for Kirby. And at this point, we have Chad, Tara, Sam, and Kirby all are there. Kirby's missing. So, and this is now Sam got the call that Kirby's the killer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Tara and Chad are hooking up essentially. But then Chad starts to beat up Ghostface, but then another Ghostface comes and they start stabbing Chad to death.
Yeah, there's no way he survives this. I mean, you can compare him to Dewey. Hello, Bilford. You can compare him to Dewey, and I know people have, but Dewey didn't get stabbed like that. He got stabbed in the back.
Dewey got stabbed in the back.
Not like the front that.
He was stabbed like Julius Caesar getting stabbed. He was like they was like going ham.
Yeah.
On him. Like it like he was spitting the blood. Like I thought for sure. I'm like, oh, and I was like, they're killing Chad. I'm like, oh, it's a commendable death, I guess. Although he would have been considered in the trope. There's the and don't be offended with the word, but not the magical Negro, but the sacrificial Negro trope in the horror is that there'd be like this one black character that dies to save the white characters. If you think about what is it? Nightmare on Elm Street, no, Friday the 13th, part. Which one's fake Jason?
5.
You remember the guy, the biker dude? Is that the one with the biker dude that survived? The black guy that survived? Part 3 survived, and then just come at the end and get his hand cut off and end up getting killed.
That's a great scene, though. I mean,
why?
He showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of heart, though.
His whole role and point in life was to save the white characters, and so that's what I thought we was having here is that Chad was scared to save the white.
I never looked at it that way.
It's a trope. It's a trope in horror films.
I'm not disagreeing that it is. I just don't look at it that way. You know me. I don't look at racism that way.
I know, but yeah. Good for you. I do.
I just see a man trying to help a woman. That's all I see.
Yeah. We see a black man trying to save a white woman. So okay, I didn't scream once, let alone 6 times. Nobody actually screams. I don't think watching films. But anyway. So she gets away. Tara gets away. Then it's sets up the final scene where it's show up between Tara, Sam's there. I thought for one second, I thought Tara was going to turn around and stab Sam for just a second.
Really?
I don't know why. I just kind of thought what if I thought that'd be a twist. That'd be a twist I didn't see coming. but yeah, then you have Kirby, and then you have the detective pop up.
It's a great scene, by the way. I have a problem with the reveal, but leading up to it, it's a great scene with Kirby and the cop and how everything goes down.
I love the reveal. I love that it's him, and you're like, but then you wonder why. Why are we?
Here's my problem with the reveal. I'm going to explain it to you.
Go for it.
It's a ripoff of a Scream ripoff. I still know what you did last summer. It reminded me of Ben Willis and his son Will. All that the family were doing it for because y'all killed. Well, they blamed them for the sister's death. I just it took me back to I still know what you did last summer, and Scream should never take me back to something that is viewed as a Scream ripoff. That's why I didn't like the whole family angle of it. It's just, and
I loved it. This is why I liked it. I thought it gave me off Scream 2 vibes, but 2.0. But in a way of like I love the reveal that Mrs. Loomis and it's Billy's mother, and you understand why she wants to see this Sidney dead. You killed my son. She doesn't think about anything. Plus, she knows that. I guess deep down, she still holds Maureen Prescott as the reason why her husband cheated on her and everything, probably. So that's like a added bonus for her. But with the detective, and it's revealed that Quinn is alive, and that this other guy, Ethan, is his other son, and that they are all the remaining family member of Richie, who was the murderer, the killer in part five, yeah. Which I love that he had that impact. I love that. Let me say this. I love that Richie had that much of an impact on this next level of Ghostface coming. And I think it kind of gave me vibes off of like The Following. You know, it kind of gave me vibes like that show. But I thought it was cool, man. Now, how they're gonna get away with it? Like, it's sloppy. Like, you should have just go ahead and killed. Don't save her. Why not just kill her?
Yeah, I do think
you know what I'm saying. Like, why not just kill?
I think
Mindy.
though, eventually you got to let Ghostface survive. To set up the next movie. It's got to happen. I mean, I feel like it's going to happen when Stu comes back, but I feel like you got to. You got to change the formula a little bit because you're repeating yourself over and over and over. And I would love actually a Scream movie where the killer is not revealed. You don't find out who it is. I think most people are probably upset by that, but for me, as a storyteller aspect of it, I love that. It would take me back to the original Halloween, where Michael survived. He just disappeared. You don't know what happened. I would love something like that to happen at the final minutes of Scream. He just disappears without the reveal.
I think that would have been pretty cool as well. I think that the reveal that it was the detective is the father, and that these are the siblings, and their family is murdering. I didn't hate it. I thought it was good. And then but at that point, this is where my mind was at. I was like, okay, now we know who the killers are. I'm thinking now it's time to see Sam do what Sam do, and that's where I was at. I was like, okay, now we got the reveal, we got the why. Now it's Sam's turn to shine, and I was hoping, and I love that they went that route where she donned on her dad's outfit and became.
That was good. That was good.
And I love how methodic she was with stabbing the detective in the arm, like several, like it's like ching 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 ching, and you're like, oh my goodness, like it hurt me to look. I was like, ooh.
She was having fun.
Oh yeah, she's having a blast. And then like Tara, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then Tara had her moment too with Ethan. Like where she stabs him in the mouth and turns it, because that's what I was gonna say. So Ethan's. I think so. The detective is the blunt force kill Ghostface. So I think the supermarket was him. I think the office, the therapist office was him. I
Yeah.
think the obviously the opening kills. I think was him. Like he, I think that he was the one that killed. Yeah, he was the opening kills with the Ghostface at the very beginning, plus his roommate. I think he did that. Um, but I think Ethan was the apartment in killing of the girlfriend of Mindy. I think that was Ethan. And then after that, I think that most of it, like you said, I think most of it was Quinn.
Yeah, she
And
had.
so, like you said, that's your issue with Quinn taking down this big dude that's at
Yeah,
Gail's house.
I don't buy it. Just like I didn't buy Amber taking down Dewey. But of course, this is a little bit different because Dewey got a phone call. He was distracted. This dude wasn't distracted at all. She just came up behind him and just took him out. It was just like, really? When it's revealed, it's like, really? But at the time, I was like, man, this Ghostface is awesome. I love what I'm seeing. But then it's revealed that she's wearing that mask. I was like, kind of took me out for a second.
But
But,
are you talking about Quinn or Amber?
well, both. But more so Quinn. I don't buy her. I don't think she could overtake Gail either. Honestly, she didn't look like she was much. I know that's not. You shouldn't judge that, but she
Yeah,
really didn't
yeah. I
look
think
like she could do too much.
and that's what one thing that they do with Ghostface is they want Ghostface to look a certain look, so people
Yeah,
can't be looking like, oh, well, maybe it is this person or that person. So I love that. I love that when they are in the costume, the Ghostface in itself, the costume is a character,
yeah,
and it's not so
absolutely.
much, Ghostface. That's why we always will refer to Ghostface as he, because he is Ghostface, and then you have the voice that is another layer of Ghostface. Um, but yeah, I, but I love that at the end. I want to say, so we have them killed, right? They're
Hmm.
dead, and then the survivors survive, and we kind of find out that Chad survived, which I call BS. But
I laughed. I was like, I just laughed at it. I was like, yeah, they're trying to make him Dewey.
yeah.
I did like him better in this movie, though. I thought he showed more personality in the movie this time around.
He's Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know that, but now I cannot not see that. Um, but I do want to say that I think that maybe they didn't kill him or kill them off because in the next one they are going to kill them or kill at least one or two of them off. And I think that they wanted to make it more because if you start to love this guy, you start pulling for his character, then his death is going to be that much more impactful.
yeah.
Although Dewey, we had 5 movies to build a love for Dewey, and you killed him off. And
And
we
they
were
even
only
brought
at
that
him
up.
for
He was the fan favorite, and that's true. He was the fan favorite. And I love the whole Sydney's the final girl. Dewey was the fan favorite. Where does that leave you, Gail?
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Um,
They mentioned, yeah, I love that.
but what I was going to say towards the end, Mindy shows up running, not showing any injuries, really, no results of it, just a bloody T-shirt. I'm like, man, they gutted her and they twisted it. She shouldn't be able to run.
Yeah,
But what I really want to focus on, though, was Sam looking
and
at
the
Tara,
mask.
then looking at the mask. She drops the mask, but she really thought about it. You could see, I could do this.
Yeah, what I was hoping for. I mean, that's what I want to bring up. I'm glad you brought it back up. So 2 things. One, I was hoping that she would keep the mask, or I was wondering maybe she went back to get the mask, or maybe also the next killer coming forward. So let's say Stu Macher goes and retrieves the mask. Um, after they walk away, Stu's in the background, which I would have loved to see some more like another Black Boot
I
walk
thought that's what they were gonna do.
walk
Someone,
up and just see the hand get down and grab it, and you don't see it. I'm like, oh, that's great. Um, but but they didn't. But then another thought I had was, what if going forward they introduce a new mask go in the series, like not that Ghostface mask. They go a different route. Well,
well,
and it's not a Ghostface
they could always bring back that Scarecrow mask that they never did use.
that they never did use. I don't see them being in New York this next time around. Um,
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see where they go back. Where they go.
mhm.
I mean, do you go back to Woodsboro again, or do you go somewhere different? I don't know, but I'm very interested in moving forward with this franchise.
Yeah,
I mean, I do really like the movie. I thought the ending was kind of chaotic.
yeah, I understand. What did you think about the end credit scene?
Yeah, I saw it. I looked it up because Dawson was like, "Is there an end credit scene?" I was like, "Well, I'll look it up." And I said, "Yes, there is." He hated it. I actually loved it. Not
I
every
thought,
movie needs to have an end credit scene. I loved it. I mean,
yeah,
it's
I laughed. I like audibly laughed out loud at that scene. Um, let's go ahead and give our marks. You ready?
yep. I'm ready.
All right, I'll let you go first. We're gonna
All
end on
right.
the handout today.
You know, on Letterboxd, I gave it 4.5 because of the chaotic ending. But I do think it's better than 5, and I actually do kind of think I like it better than 2. I'm gonna go 5. I do have problems with it with the ending, but everything before that I thought was perfect. Like it honestly was. I was leaning towards this being my favorite Scream movie. If it's not, I say it's number 2.
All right, we're gonna go there. Before you say any of that, I got a five. Five for me too. Five across the board. I absolutely loved it. Had a great time with it. Um, can't wait to see where they go next. Now, since you said that, it's going to segue, and this is how we end it. Um, I'm going to go ahead and do my ranking of Scream so far, real quick, briefly. I'm going to say, for me, I'm going best to worst.
Okay.
All right, Scream. I'm going to say Scream 6. And then I'm going to go Scream 5 or Scream reboot or whatever. Scream 5. Scream 4, Scream 2, and Scream 3. That's my ranking.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the performance of Billy and Stu in the end, man, I would put Scream 6 at number 1. But since that ending was better, I got to put Scream 1996 as number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go Scream 6. Yeah, I just thought it was phenomenal. I thought the story was really good. Number 3, Scream 4 for me. Number 4, Scream 2. I still have Scream 5 as number 5, which I still say to you, anyone that's watching, it's 5 excellent films. But number 6 would be Scream 3, which is okay. I give it an okay. It's an okay film.
All right.
I think 5 of them are excellent.
All right. And then 2 more little categories and we'll call it quits.
Okay.
All right. Opening sequences. I'm going to go the Scream 1996. I'm going to go Scream 6 because that was so great. I say Scream 2. I would say Scream. Scream 5, and then I would go Scream 3, and then Scream 4. Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't even thought about this. So, but on top of my head, best opening, number 1, Scream 6. They changed the formula a little bit, so I like that. Plus, you got more than one kill, so I really liked how they opened that. As number 2, Scream, 1996. 3, ooh, 2's really good. But you know what? I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna go Scream 3, Killing Cotton Weary. I thought it was a classic opening.
As a gut punch. Yeah.
Yeah. 4. Oh, I gotta go Scream 2022. Tara's the way she was attacked and survived. 5, Scream 2, which is an awesome opening in its own right. I mean, it was great. The only one I don't like is, Scream 4's opening. I thought that was pretty bad, but everything else was really good in that movie. So that's my numbers for best opening.
Okay, and then the last thing, the category is we're gonna do the Ghostface, who the like Ghostface killers. We're like the reveals, So I'm gonna go Scream 1, 1996, best Ghostface, completely Billy Loomis and Stu Macher. I'm gonna go Scream 2, Mrs. Loomis and Mickey. I love them. I'm gonna go number 3. I think I will go Scream 4. I love them, like the film geek and Sydney's cousin. Scream, what's that, 3? I'm gonna go Scream. Let's go Scream 5. For them, I really enjoyed them. Who am I missing?
3 and
Scream 6. Scream 6 would be 5, and then Scream 3 be 6. I think Rome is the weakest Ghostface, in my opinion.
So the best killers, obviously Stu and Billy's number 1. I mean, not just the best kills, but just the more entertaining reveal. I mean, just everything about that was awesome. Number 2, I'm gonna go Scream 4. I like that reveal. It don't equal, but it was nice. 3, Scream 2. I think it was solid. 4, I'll go 5. Richie and Amber. It was all right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5. Man, you're getting to the bottom here. Roman, I guess. Yeah, that was a great kill. Absolutely. Yeah. Roman be number 5. Number 6 would be the family getting revenge for Richie. I just didn't really care for it. But overall, I love the movie. So.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, that concludes this. Too many survivors in part 6.
I agree.
Yeah, we mentioned that. I think it's probably so many survivors so that they can kill off. I think they got to go crazy in 7. And I think like we can do quick little predictions. Since thank you, by the way, Castellar Garcia. We appreciate you tuning in, by the way. But I believe my predictions for 7 is that Stu Macher will make his return. I think that the secret. I think we're gonna have 3 Ghostface killers. That's one thing. Well, this is the first time we had 3. I think.
Yeah.
In a sense, but I think we're gonna have 3 again. I think we're gonna keep the same formula. Maybe I think Stu Macher. I think we have the best of the Ghostfaces. I think so. I'm thinking of Stu Macher, and I think the Jill. Roberts. I think she's gonna be the one that you like. Oh, she survived, type of thing. And I think maybe we'll reveal that Sam is like, and maybe that's what they're trying to do. Stu is trying to coerce her into becoming a Ghostface, becoming a killer. and maybe like it'd be kind of dope where they where the whole movie is actually Sam committing murders, and that uh and as a Ghostface, but I don't know. It's just it's my predictions. I might be totally wrong,
Do
but
you predict Sydney returns for 7, or she still
I
holds
think
out?
I don't think we need Sydney, but if we have Sydney, I think Sydney will return only if for some reason she finds out that her cousin's still living.
That would make sense. It don't really
Yeah.
make sense for her to return now. But if Jill's alive, that makes sense. Stu is back, that makes sense. But for this storyline that's going on, it don't really make sense. It makes sense for Gail because she's a
Or if
reporter.
Gail dies, then she would. I can see her coming because Gail's dead.
Yeah. Predictions for me, as far as killer, I'm just gonna go one killer. Stu
Uh,
Macher returns.
Leslie Mocker is out there. So she is the mother. She's Stu's sister, right? Is what I'm understanding. Sam to trade Sydney for her sister Tara if she gets kidnapped. Hmm. Hmm. That's
Um,
interesting. That's interesting. What if also? Because I always thought, and what if this was revealed? And I know we got to end, but what if this was revealed that I always thought in Scream 3 that there were still two killers, and I always thought that Kincaid was one because I always
her husband,
yeah. So what
Sydney's
if
husband.
Kincaid was a killer? They
I
got away with it, and it becomes revealed that he was helping Roman all along. He just got away. He's the only one to get
I
away.
that is also one of my predictions. I was going to say that I think Mark is going to return in Scream 7 with Sydney. I think if
That'd be kind of dope.
with Jamie Lee,
Yeah, Jamie Lee is a therapist.
that would that'd be a nice little callback for Halloween. I mean, she got her own mother to appear in H2O, so Janet Lee. So that'd be kind of cool if she did something like that.
It would be awesome if we actually really cross into some other territories. Like I would love Heather Langenkamp to pop up uh, in some because and that's kind of
Yeah.
a big homage to Wes Craven because she was his original like type of final girl. And I would argue and say she was a better final girl than Laurie Strode was. She at least fought Freddy. So
Yeah. And I'll
um,
make another prediction. If they do turn Sam to the dark side, it'll end with her killing Tara.
ooh,
That's how the movie ends. Maybe similar to something like in Psycho, the shower scene.
ooh, that would be interesting. Where you end it with terrors. So instead of beginning with the death of the most famous person that you have in the movie, the last death that you have in the movie is the most famous person. And
Yeah.
so, you
If
know,
she turns, I see that kind of happening. Because,
because you could
Jenna's
probably
going to get
only,
expensive to keep
yeah,
around.
the future Scream trilogy has to be about Sydney's teenage kids. Yeah, I can see that. But I also think that Sydney, they kind of ran the gamut with the Sydney storylines. I think now they're going back to everything is about Billy Loomis and connected to Billy Loomis. And I can see Stu Macher being jealous of like, what about me? What
Yeah.
about and I can really see that. Like that, I think I think you could see him with maybe scarred up face from the television. Um, but like maybe he's the one that's created the cult of Ghostface, which
It is basically a cult now.
who helped radicalize Richie and and Amber, kind of helped them to become who they were is Stu. So it has been Stu
Yeah.
since since Roman, I guess. It's been Stu kind of feeding the beast. Um Scream again for Scream 7. What do you mean by that? I wonder.
I think it means the title.
Scream again. Be quiet. No, that's not what that's what we call it. No.
I mean, because it's getting up there. You don't want to put a number beside Scream too much longer.
Yeah. I like that they did it for 6. 6 feels different. It felt like instead of and they could have said Scream in New York or something like that. But they've been LA, they've been Hollywood. They did that. They've been New York. They can go abroad, Scream in Rome or Scream in like abroad somewhere. On vacation on a yacht, Scream on a boat.
I would stay away from the boats.
Yeah,
but
but
there's not so much you can do on a boat.
Scream 6 was more action oriented. I agree. Scream 6 felt it had the rawness of certain scenes that kind of remind me of Death Wish, in that kind of visceral type of nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to end this podcast. We've been going for longer than we should have, but we're just talking Scream. Thank you all for joining us. I don't know what we have next week.
It's your pick.
I think Scream was my pick, wouldn't it? Are we doing? Yeah, we'll see. We'll discuss it. But go ahead. Can you read that for me?
Glad they showed in Part 6 on TV, Friday the 13th, Part 8, and the Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, that was really good. I love how they called back those. But yeah, you was wanting to do Kevin Williamson one eventually.
Oh, sick! Yeah, that was gonna be my next pick.
Okay, but yeah, so we might do something other than horror coming up, and then get back into some more stuff. But in the meantime and in between time, what do we want people to do, Brandon?
Well, if you like this episode, click like, click share, and subscribe to the Markout Movie Podcast channel
on YouTube. Yep, and we thank you for watching. Be safe. Have a happy Irish Day. There you go. Yeah. And just be safe and drink responsibly. You're gonna drink. In the meantime and in between time, Aaron Whitlow.
I'm Brandon Spivey.
Thank you for marking that.